wonderful Jasmine Douglas, who is the founder of Babes on Waves, which is, tell us a little bit about Babes on Waves before we go on, but you're going to be talking to us about motivation today, and how to kind of get beyond the kind of the fog that happens when we're in, in quarantine, when we're quarantining ourselves. But first of all, tell us a little bit about Babes on Waves. What is that, Jasmine?
So Babes on Waves is an online confidence building community for women, primarily for millennial and Gen Z women. And we want to help you build confidence, whether that's in your life, like in the day-to-day, or whether that's in your business. So building confidence in yourself as a founder. We do like all different stuff. We do workshops, courses, we've got a membership club, we run a lot of community events, and a bit of everything really. Everything related to confidence.
Brilliant. I mean, I love the idea of kind of building confidence for founders. So I know at Psychologies, we're doing it constantly. We're doing working from home special this month, but a couple of months ago we were talking about starting your own business, digital businesses, and when we were talking to all our readers, it was definitely this sense of we haven't got the confidence. We don't think we're good enough. We don't think, that business is for them over there, not for me over here. Mm-hmm. So we start to build the confidence to found our own business. I know that you created a community, which I think is a huge part of it. But what else do we need to do to kind of start saying, yeah, I can do this. This is possible for me.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I think it was a report by NatWest, actually. Every year they release a report looking at the problems faced by female entrepreneurs and confidence. People always talk about funding, and yes, that is like a big problem, or the lack of funding, I should say. But confidence is actually one of the biggest barriers to women starting businesses. And it's like, I think it was a perceived lack of skills. So not actually lacking the knowledge. It's just we always, as women, we tend to think that we don't have these skills and that we don't have the information necessary. So through the community, what I focus on, firstly, like the community itself, whether you join a membership, a free community, just surrounding yourself with women who you can relate to in the beginning, because diversity is a big part, for a huge part of what we do, and it is good to have those different viewpoints. But I think when you're starting out, you need to be around people who have similar background to you, who look like you, who all of these things, and that just shows you they're not that different to me. If they can do it, I can do it, and it just gives you that little nudge to actually go out there and start doing the work. And besides that, I would tell people as well, like, I think when we think of confidence building or productivity building or goal setting or any of these things, we tend to think, okay, well, I need to be my ideal self. If I'm going to do this, I need to go from 0 to 100 in the moment that I decide to be, better or more productive or more confident. And that's just not how things work. Confidence or becoming more productive or organized is about those like incremental steps to improvement. So focusing on like, what can I do today that will make me 1% more confident or make me 1% more productive? And just every day, if you do those incremental things, then before you know it, you'll be a completely different person. But just really, really focusing on like small actionable things every day. Maybe it's not, I need to launch my business today. Maybe it's like I can go out and speak to one potential customer and do a bit of market research, just have one conversation. And that way I'm like working towards the end goal, doing it in a less scary way.
Yeah, I know that Psychologies were very much about building the big vision, but also taking the baby steps. But this is, the kind of vision, because often it's like, I don't know what I want to do, but it almost sounds like when you when you want to found a business, you're almost probably quite clear about the business that you want to found, and then you become paralyzed, don't you, with fear? Well, I do, paralyzed with fear about, oh my God. And I love incremental things. You don't have to launch your business. So I love what you just said. One is that to surround yourself with people like you, you feel like, okay, they're not, sometimes when you're dealing with kind of mentors or people who are just very shiny and all dancing or perhaps look different to you, you think, okay, that's for them over there, not for me over here. So to see people who are like you, who have made it work, they haven't got trust funds or haven't work, or do you know what I mean? And so totally, so that's really important. And the second piece is kind of taking baby steps, creating something. You don't expect it to be fully formed, whatever, and it starts growing. And in my experience, that's exactly what works. That's exactly what works, because one step leads to another. And then sometimes, you have a plan, but then something will come completely left field, and you'll go, and that door will open, and you go, okay, let's go in that door, which is not in the original plan. It kind of works.
Definitely.
You're talking about, we were just talking just before we came on live, that working from home can be quite difficult and quite challenging, and you talk about quarantine brain fog. I'm glad you've named it. So what is it?
Well, I think all of us can relate to it, and it is just exactly that. It's that fogginess of just, sometimes things where I just don't remember what I did an hour before. I'll go downstairs, I'll lose my keys, I can't concentrate, and I'm sat at my desk and I'm reading the same sentence over and over again, and it's not going in. And it's just that real state of just the days are all blurring into one, and there's no real separation. And you have a conversation with someone, it's like, what did you do today? Oh, well, the same as every day. And it's just that kind of like state of fog, state of just kind of lack of clarity, I think. And I think it's something that a lot of us are going through, and we see so much stuff online. Like, yes, now is a great time to be doing a lot of things we didn't have time for, maybe whether it's running a business or getting in shape. But also, it's with that comes all of this kind of like extra burden of really having to look over your mental health, like really getting burnt out from people overworking themselves. And so it's just trying to look at how we can achieve a balance between those two things.
Yeah, I know. I mean, our working from home dossier, it's talking to the point that you're making constantly, that those things about how you create the boundaries between kind of work and and also I just think maybe the first lockdown it was slightly easier because it was light, and we're going spring and summer.
Definitely.
Whereas I mean this morning, God, trying to get going for me, I was just like, it was dark, it was raining. Really, how am I gonna boost?
I relate completely. I mean, my alarm didn't go off this morning, so being completely transparent, because I'm all about transparency, is I didn't get up until about 9:30. I woke up in a panic. I was like, oh my God, like,
oh my God.
Exactly. You wake up, it's dark. By the time that you finish work and you're like, I'm gonna go treat myself to a walk, it's still dark. So it's really just recognizing that it's not an easy space to be in. And if you're feeling low, if you're feeling foggy, don't feel bad or don't feel guilty for that. Like, that is a very normal thing that basically everyone in my community who I've spoken to is feeling burnt out, feeling stressed. And so it's about like working together and thinking, what actionable small things can I do just to get me through this time and take me past lockdown and take me, into the brighter months when things are just a little bit easier.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about loneliness as well in your work, and perhaps what I love about your co-working club that you created is that it's a great antidote to that, and will help with productivity. Saying to you, when I was a coach, we used to have these power hours where at the beginning of the hour we'd meet and we'd talk and we'd say, this is what I'm going to do this hour, and then we would go and do it. But you're doing something 15-minute slots, which I like even better. Tell me about that, and why does that work?
Yeah, definitely. So the software it's hosted by this company called FocusMate, who I've used them for the past few months, and they have been a lifesaver. And if you sign up through our virtual work club, which is free for all women, initially I was just aiming at founders, but then I realized, it's not just business owners, it's everyone who's working from home, which is basically everyone at the moment. Yeah. So how it works is you sign up, you go online and you just book into a slot, like at your own convenience. All the times are there. Doesn't matter what time zone you are in. Doesn't matter if you're a night worker or an early riser, any of that. You book into a slot, and then it would then pair you with someone else in the group, and it would open up a little window like this. So someone there, a human face, you can say hello, and then you just say what you want to work on in that next 15 minutes. And what I like about it is that 50 minutes, after 50 minutes, my brain wants to go and do other things and get up, and that's completely fine. So rather than trying to say, I'm going to do an 8-hour day of work and really smash it out and be amazing, I just say, okay, well, let me do 3 focus mate sessions, or let me do 4 focus mate sessions if I can. And in between that, that's my time to chill, to be away from my desk, to go on a walk, pet a cat, whatever it is that makes me happy. So it's, again, it's a really practical tool to help you find that balance.
Yeah, great. I mean, in a 15-minute slot, you can, it's amazing what you can get done. As you say, yesterday I spent sort of 15 minutes. There was loads of house admin that I had to do, sign up for my electricity or something, or, it just takes forever when you're on the phone. And I never do it because it just does my head in. So I think I'm not wasting my time doing this. But yesterday, just spending some time doing my house admin allowed me to kind of clear my head to do the other stuff that I had to do. So it really works, doesn't it? This kind of, cutting. What other productivity tips do you have for us? Because I know that you're writing in a book that's coming out in January about productivity and goal setting. So if you had to give us your best tips on how to set some goals, I mean, I know breaking it down, that's a great goal. What else? What else do we need to do?
Yeah, so the ebook that I'm launching is based around the masterclass that the first one I ran was literally in the first lockdown in May, when I think people really needed it. And so that's a 90-minute masterclass where I really go from step to step of how to, first of all, identify like a really relevant goal and how to actually break it down. The kind of main takeaway from that process would be around focusing on actually setting habits rather than goals. Because like, what is the goal really? It's something that you say you want to achieve, that you want to point yourself towards. But for me, just having a goal, like let's say my goal is to run a marathon, it's definitely not within 12 weeks or whatever it is. It's almost too much work to just leave that there hanging. I would then break it down even further and say, what are the habits that we need to build and create in order to achieve this goal? So maybe one habit is we need to go on a run 5 times a week, 4 times a week. Maybe another run is that, I don't know anything about running marathons, so maybe this is a bad example. But
I did it well, never again. Don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. Of like logging my runs. Maybe I need to, be getting 8 hours of sleep every night, and so I need to build a habit around that. So really just breaking it down into the lifestyle changes so that we will slowly start to unconsciously work to our goals. So rather than having to make that decision and fight with yourself, let's say your goal was to save £10,000 or £1,000, rather than every month, having to struggle with yourself. Oh, I can't buy this coffee because, I'm trying to save money, but I want this coffee. Instead, you can say, okay, well, when my paycheck comes in, I'm setting up a standing order so that X amount will go into my savings I cannot touch. And then whatever's left over, I can buy all the coffees I want. You know what I mean? So you're taking away that struggle from you. So that's probably the core of what my ebook and what my masterclass is all about, like how to build actionable habits to unconsciously reach your goals.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's brilliant because it kind of automating, so you don't have to think about it anymore.
Exactly.
Changes and to kind of put those on. I love those kind of piggyback habits that you do. I try and do kind of mindfulness in the morning when I'm brushing my teeth now. And when I first heard about it, I thought, what, really? But actually, just it sets myself up because you're doing it twice a day and you can kind of be mindful, feel my feet on the ground, on the cold tiles.
Definitely.
Noticing the taste of the toothpaste and it's just I have 2 mindful meditations every day just when I brush my teeth. So there's all of that, which is so useful, isn't it? It's about how to make, as you say, not to feel bad constantly, because goals can be a brilliant way, can't they, to beat yourself up. So we've got ways, sometimes, especially if you're I would say my greatest strength and my greatest weakness is I'm an optimist. So I go, hey, I'm going to run a marathon in 4 weeks. And then, nearly kill myself and die. And then think, oh, yeah, I was right. I'm really rubbish at that. Do you know what I mean? It's setting yourself up to fail. So I think what you're teaching and what you're talking about learning how to do, to build great goals into your lifestyle that are realistic. It's a life skill, isn't it?
Definitely. And as well as talking about, ambitious goals, something that I really, really don't like, because I feel, you search goal setting or whatever on YouTube, and you usually get of people who look all very similar talking about goals, but in the sense of, world domination, I'm gonna launch the next Google, I'm gonna do this, do that. And it completely just skims over the fact that fun goals or mental health goals are really important goals too. And they're goals that you do actually have to plan for. Otherwise, you're just going to end up, living on Someday Island all your life. If you don't plan to save for that fun trip to Bali, if you don't plan to actually decrease your anxiety from a 10 to a 7, you need to have those action steps in place. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen, by accident. So definitely just remembering that your goals, you don't need to push yourself always in the sense that, oh, I need to come up with something amazing and revolutionary. It can be something simple, and those are actually goals that will really build your disciplines, that when it comes to, if you do want to take on those like big challenges, you already have the discipline there to be able to achieve them.
Yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right. It is the wellness and our well-being, because someone said to me yesterday, I was talking about another business idea, and I was like, oh, what about this? And someone said, remember the end game. I said, what do you mean? I said, how? Like, oh yeah. And then it's, what's the question I always used to ask as a coach is that, but what will that give you? What will it give you? Yeah. And it's that kind of sense of wellness or feeling alive or whatever it is. Thank you so much for your time today. All of your details are up above on the Facebook post above. We're also doing working from home special in this month's Psychologies magazine, so do check into that as well. Good luck with all your endeavors and your book coming out in January, all about goal setting.
Thank you.
Good luck with, I think it's such a great idea what you're doing, the co-working kind of virtual space for everyone working from home. What a brilliant idea. I think why not? Because I love this idea of the 15 minutes. I think I could just about manage that. So thank you, Jasmine, so much for your time today.
All right. Thank you. Bye.